most of their players back from last year, and that's going to be a really difficult challenge for us. Mora's as good as Player of the Year in the conference, outstanding point guard, and one that's been different. The last 2 or 3 point guards that we have played have not been shooting point guards. And he came out here last year and hit 3 threes in a row, and all of a sudden they got out on us. We came back, but he was just a really outstanding player. So Kennedy rebounds. Their guy Tolbert, 4 offensive rebounds a game. I'd never seen that. 4 offensive rebounds a game. 3 or 4 fifth-year guys, and they're very good. They're very experienced, and but we're looking forward to the challenge.
Coach, is there any update on Derek's status for tomorrow night?
We tried a little bit yesterday. He wasn't able to go. We'll try a little bit more today.
How do you balance not rushing him back with, this being your last chance to get a good non-conference?
Yeah, you can't sacrifice. You got to look at this the whole thing and learn. He tried probably too much last year. Maybe in hindsight, we'd love to have given him more time last year. Maybe we could have prevented that, but he felt he could play and he was trying. So we're going to make sure he's ready to play. If he does try and play and he can't do it, he's got to come out. But let's see what it is. It's a very tender area of your body, and you also want to make sure that you don't hurt him from down the road. That ankle injury will play you all year long if you don't allow it to heal.
Brendan, is it just a regular ankle injury or a high ankle sprain?
No, it's not high. It's not high. It's lateral. I've heard high and low, lateral, which would be somewhere in between.
And what were you able to kind of take away from the game Saturday in terms of playing without him? Obviously, you did a lot last year, but what was anything different?
Well, I guess it's different from last year. Spike's not in there, but I think we learned a lot about what Mohammed can continue to give us as far as defense and just being a piece of the puzzle, a more significant piece of the puzzle in some games. And he'll have some defensive if Derek is not able to go, and if Derek is able to go. He's just learning to play defense really at a much different level than we saw last year. So that's the big thing, more and more confidence in Mohammed as we go forward.
Right over here with Tony.
Given what happened, obviously not too fond memories of the game last year against SMU. It was during a rough stretch for you guys. Do you feel like a win tomorrow could mentally help turn the page from what happened last season?
Well, they were a really good team. They won 27 games. Right. It'd be no different than losing to Wisconsin here, because they were a really good basketball team. And so we were ahead in that game by 3 points with 7 minutes to go after being down early by 8. And but we just really didn't play well, and credit them. So this is not about last year at all. This is about quality. If you can play 2 road games in your preseason, in your non-conference, against quality opponents, and go 2-0, that's a heck of a start as you go into conference season as far as away victories. That's what it is. It is, as they came in here last year trying to get in the NCAA tournament, we win at Michigan, that's going to help us. Same thing, we win at SMU, that's really going to help us. We understand it's going to be a big crowd. Michigan doesn't come to town every day, and it's going to be a great atmosphere for a game.
Do you look at last year's SMU film and see things that you will do differently and can do differently against them?
Yeah, there were some strategies we used last year that backfired on us. We probably weren't ready for them, but we were ready for that at that time we were ready for them. At that time in our progression, we weren't good enough at it yet. And so hopefully we're better at it now, but there's also some things as we watch the game, and they're playing very much like last year's team. What this really makes them a good team is, I don't know if they got anybody with a negative assist turnover. The forwards, their centers, Marcus Kennedy's we didn't know who he was last year as far as a player. He played at Villanova, and now he's become a second most on the team in assists. There's a lot of challenges there with all the guys that can pass the ball, and we got to approach that differently.
With Moore being so small and things like that, what are the keys to defending him? Is he a guy you can put length on, or just that's what?
Well, we tried that last year, and it didn't work very well. That he really had a great game when we put our bigger guards on him. So no, he is one of those guys, a dynamo at 5'9", 5'10", and plays much bigger than that. But his pace and how he sees the floor and how he runs the SMU offense beautifully. He picks his spot. He's still a high volume shooter that never looks like, hey, this is all about me. He really makes some great decisions. He gives you just enough aggression on offense to realize you really got to guard him, as we saw last year.